Hello and happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to my art journal. Today I'm having a page called Fairy because the day that I draw this page, Monday the 11th of April, is the 5th birthday of my niece, who's currently in love with the concept of fairies, and there's different toys that she plays with. She got a fairy castle and a guest house, and lots of fairy figures for her birthday. And I thought, I couldn't be at her birthday party today because I had to work and my hubby had to work, and it just didn't work out. We will meet up soon. So I thought, I'm just gonna have my art journal page today be inspired by her love for fairies currently, just to, have a little some there. And she saw the painting on Skype. We Skyped today, and she loved it. And I guess when we'll meet up very soon, she and I will sit at her drawing table, and just draw fairies, because that's what we do. We draw together and paint, and I really love it. So I started out with a sketch of a fairy sitting on a big stone, and she's holding a flower, and is probably just gonna sniff it. I did go over everything with a marker. In hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have done that and just stayed with a pencil sketch, because the fairy itself will stick out quite a bit in the end, and I guess it would have looked more harmonic and homogeneous would I only have used the pencil and not the very dark black marker there. But again, it's my art journal, and I use it to learn things before I take them to the big surfaces, So as a technique today, I decided I wanted to go with pastels again and wet them right away, and then pretty much paint with that liquefied chalk. And it worked out really well. I usually apply the chalk to the paper and then liquefy, but I thought, let's try it differently and use those pastel chalk blocks like a palette or a pan of watercolors, and dip right in with a water brush and pick up the pigment and transfer it to the paper and paint. So I was really surprised how well that worked. I mean, I do have these blocks here. You can see them on the left-hand side of the screen. And I thought, these are, I'm going to dedicate those pastel chalks to the ones that I dip into with my brush right away. And the others, the Rembrandt soft pastels, I'm going to use those for my traditional way of, working with pastels. And then I realized the palette of colors that I need is not the one that I have there in this box. And there is a lot of pastels there, but I lacked quite a bit of the darker greens and some very reddish browns like burnt sienna, stuff like that. So I decided, okay, let's go with the same technique, but with my other soft pastels, and just hope that I won't ruin the medium, but just work with it. And it did work, so no worries there. I learned today that I can dip in to these very soft foamy kind of storage units here for my soft pastels as well, and they're not ruined by a splash of water. I can pick up the pigment right away like I did with my other pastel blocks and paint. So for the background, I decided, okay, I want to have a wooden area, but I don't want to have the painting or the scene look too dark. So I'm only painting like, I'd say 65% of the paper sheet. I'll leave a lot of white or have it very softly colored only, respectively, especially on the grass area on the lower section. It will be very light and very, soft, and not a lot to it, so it feels as if I have a lot of white paper there, though I actually don't. And I wanted to do that for the fairy to have quite the open space and not be hunkered down on a tiny meadow in a very dark forest. I didn't want to have that feeling. I wanted to have it airy and breathy and whimsical, magical, open, you know. I hope you know what I mean. But that was the feeling that I went for. So for the trees and that stone in the background there, which I first thought would be a bush, but then decided to make it a second stone, I used a lot of warm greens, a few cold greens for the tops of the trees, and a lot of warm browns in different shades, just to, well, give you the feeling of either a huge meadow or maybe just the brim or the edge of a forest that moves on into the grassy lands, and there sits a fairy. That was pretty much the intent here. And I think it worked out well enough. I'm definitely gonna take that technique to paper or to another painting later in the week, Thursday to be exact. So if you wanna see that, make sure to check out the Choco Challenge painting. And I really liked working like that in my art journal with those pastels, liquefying the pigment right away, and it keeps very clean fingers, which is very different from the way I usually paint with pastels. I always am as colored as my surfaces, but not when picking up the pigment with a brush. So there is my painting. I just put in a very, very soft and laid back sky, a tiny bit of a blue that I also used in the wings, and then I'm just gonna, well, blow dry everything and, well, then go over the whole shebang with my pastel pencils just to add some grass and flowers, and then I'm gonna call it a day or a painting and leave it as it is and take my lessons learned to other surfaces for the videos this week. I hope you enjoyed watching along. Thank you very much for staying on the video. I will talk to you very soon. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to see lots of close-up photos of this particular piece, please hop on over to my webpage. It's in the description box below. There's a blog post for every painting that I put up here on this channel. I thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Go create and do all the good YouTube stuff. Bye.